Hello, everyone. This is another Black Conservative. I'm Ryan Bowling. Thank you all for joining me. So, Florida Governor Ron Desantis on Newsmax TV in an interview, which I did get a chance to listen to about 5 minutes of there on a Breitbart News article that I'm about to read to you guys, which is relatively short. He basically accused former President Donald Trump of siding with the Walt Disney Corporation in the sexualization of our children. Now, that is a bold accusation, and whether or not it's true or not, I have no clue or no idea. That would seem to be unbelievable that Trump would be doing such a thing. But let's face it, Trump has been attacking Ron DeSantis, and Ron DeSantis have not been attacking Trump so far. So one could argue that this is Ron DeSantis getting back at Trump. But I'm not going to get into the details of it. I'm going to do that in my extended commentary after we read this article. But just suffices to tell you that we know that Ron DeSantis has made his announcement that he's going to run for president of the United States. And so regardless of what side you take, as Mark Dice have said, get ready, buckle your seatbelts. We are in for a ride. And some other things too. I think that this is going to be pretty extensive and intense. But let's get right into this. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis said Thursday on Newsmax TV's The Balance that former President Donald Trump is siding with the Walt Disney Company, which he called, quote, a multinational corporation that wants to sexualize kids. DeSantis said, I think at the end of the day, most of our voters obviously appreciate a lot of the things President Trump did. I do. I mean, he's been attacking me a lot, but I still give him credit for the things that he did. Well, especially, with the economy in the first 3 years. But they also understand that you need someone that can serve 2 terms. You need somebody that's going to be able to win and win big. Wow. So I think we have a lot of folks that will consider somebody like me who has proven to be very strong, he continued. I'm standing up to people like Disney, and with due respect to the former president, he's taken Disney's side in this now. I'm standing against Disney. I'm standing for the kids. I'm standing for the parents. I don't think these kids should be sexualized. We took away their self-governing status, and I'm not backing down 1 inch from that. I think our voters want to see somebody that can fight, but also somebody that can win. And then he goes on, he added, I think that some of the things that he's been attacking me on, I've been a little surprised because he's attacking me from the left. That really wasn't that Donald Trump from 2015 and 2016. He was a hard charger, leaning in, very edgy on conservative issues, and was part of the reason he did so well. And from what I understand about this, I was reading up on it that Donald Trump is not a hardcore conservative. He's kind of like a moderate conservative. And during the Pride parade, I was hearing from one particular YouTuber that this is during, I think, doing this while he was in this, like a year or two into his presidency, he was cited holding a gay flag, cited holding a gay flag. So that shows you he was somewhat moderate. If these guys want to have the gay pride parades, that's on them. Okay, that's their choice, and that was what it seemed to be what Trump was doing. But a hardcore conservative would not have done that more than likely. Okay, so Trump is more of a moderate in terms of conservative. But anyway, he says on conservative issues, and it was part of the reason he did so well. When he's taking Disney's side against me, I just kind of wonder, like, okay, I get it. He wants to hit me, but don't take the side of a multinational corporation that wants to sexualize kids. And that is the end of that article there. And like I said, I was able to listen in to 5 minutes of his conversation on Newsmax TV, and you can go to the article in the description box below on Breitbart News, and it'll give you about 5.5 minutes of that interview. But yeah, he said some really powerful things. Now, first I want to deal with the fact that what I do know about Ron DeSantis has been the governor of Florida. And what I do know about him, he is standing against critical race theory. He is standing against the sexualization of our children. And that is a major, major issue in this country. And a lot of people are seeing it. And the mainstream media is attacking Ron DeSantis for that. Now, people can argue on the conspiracy side. They can argue and say this is controlled chaos. That Ron DeSantis, yes, he's against these type of things, and yes, he's pushing against these type of things, and yes, the corporate media, the deep state media is attacking him. But that's all part of the plan. Controlled opposition is what they say. It could be that, but at the end of the day, he is attacking a corporation, like you said, a multinational corporation that has an invested interest on attacking our children and sexualizing our children. Now, what's interesting about this is that Walt Disney, the corporation, has had this history for many decades. But I'm not going to get into the detail of that. But most people that understand the history of Walt Disney Corporation know that this is not new with them. It's just that now they're really, really, really upping the ante, if you will, because I personally believe that Trump slowed them down. The devil wants to get you progressively. And if he can't get you progressively, he'll try to slam you. Okay. So that's what I believe is going on. But yeah, he's really coming in on this situation. And I think, honestly, that Ron DeSantis is saying these things about Trump siding with the multinational corporation, Disney being a multinational corporation that wants to sexualize our children. I believe that he is coming at that angle because Trump did come at him. He made fun of him with the Twitter situation when he made his announcement and so forth about running for the candidacy. Trump basically on his social, I forget the name of his new site, but anyway, he made fun of Ron DeSantis and so forth, and Elon Musk. He made fun of those guys and so forth. So people question why Ron DeSantis went on Twitter to do this. Look, I don't know because I'm not a Twitter user. I have an account with Twitter, but I haven't used Twitter at all, because I don't want to deal with all that nonsense. I don't want to, maybe I should, but I don't want to deal with all that nonsense. All the fear of being censored. Yes, Elon Musk is over it, but I mean, I really don't want to deal with it. But anyway, people have argued that why did he decide to do the ad or to announce his presidency on Twitter and so forth, and why didn't he just do it the regular way? Well, I have no clue why he did it that way, but Trump clearly made fun of him, and I've seen this on other fellow YouTube content creators that have done some videos on this, and it was hilarious what Trump was. I mean, I laughed to the point where I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. But here's the thing. Whether or not Trump actually is siding with Walt Disney Corporation in the sexualization of our children, that doesn't sound likely. Okay, that doesn't sound likely. Ron DeSantis may have said that because Trump may not be purposely pushing against Walt Disney Corporation. And Ron DeSantis may have said that he's siding with them because Trump is not saying anything against them. But on the flip side of that, this is Trump. Trump have always been, from what I understand, particularly when he was running his campaign and when he was president, that if someone was competing against him, one of the ways in which he would get at them is he would belittle them, he would attack them, he would make jokes about them, he called them different names. I mean, I think Sleepy Joe, the term Sleepy Joe, I think is his words. I think that's his way of describing President Joe Biden. All these funny names and so forth. Ron DeSantimonious, that's something he made up. Trump made that up. So, that's Trump's way. That's his way of making fun of the person that's going to compete against him. And I think that this perhaps, this whole situation with Trump attacking Ron DeSantis or making fun of him on Twitter is his way of doing things. That's the Trump way. Whether it's good or bad, or whether it's right or wrong, one can argue that, but that's the Trump way. And anyone that knows the tactics and ways of Trump should know that. But on the other hand, it's like him siding with Walt Disney. I don't think so. Because the thing is that one of the things that I'm looking at is, okay, yes, Ron DeSantis is attacking the over sexualization of our children and the border situation and so forth. But what about socialism? That was one of the things that Trump was against. Trump specifically stated on several occasions that he is against socialism. And there is an attempt to create a socialist global government. And America is being pushed into that same realm. As a matter of fact, America is not a total capitalist country. It's a synergy of both capitalism, communism, and socialism. Okay, and it's been that way since 1913. Boom. Think about that for a moment, and then we won't. But I ain't gonna get into the detail of that. It's not always been a capitalist country for a long time. Okay. Now, having said that, Trump is against socialism. He has been against socialism. Will Ron DeSantis be against socialism? And if so, will socialism during the campaign strategy, if they ever get to that point where they actually have to do a debate, rather, will that be mentioned? Will Ron DeSantis mention that? Will he say, I'm against socialism? Or is he a part of the same deep state agenda? Because the overall bigger picture is to create a one world government, one world religion, and one world economic system. That's the overall big picture. Okay. So during the debate, as any of these two individuals, if they get into a debate during this campaign trail and so forth, when they get into the debate, are they going to mention these type of things, or are they going to mention globalization, a one world government? More than likely not. Maybe Trump might mention something about it. So one could argue back and forth about, Ron DeSantis' sincerity. Is he a part of the deep state? Maybe, is he a part of all of these big money donors and so forth? Look, you can argue that all day. I'll say this. In my opinion, I can't say who I think would win. I really don't know. For me, this is just my opinion, okay? Because a friend of mine asked me, his friend actually sent me an email and let me know that Elon Musk and Ron DeSantis is, going for, there's going to be merging together to run for president. And she was like, oh man, who's going to win? Who do you think is going to win? And so my reply is this. I don't know who's going to win, but I will say this. In my opinion, I think the best candidate is Donald Trump. I think he's the best for us. Now, do I believe he's going to get in? Honestly, no. And the reason why I don't think he's going to win is because the deep state is not going to let him win. He slipped in there. I know that sounds conspiratorial, but he slipped in the first time. Because from what I understand from different sources is that he paid his own campaign for the most part. But here I think he has other donors paying for him and so forth. So he has to be kind of edgy a little bit. But I don't think that I don't think they're going to let him in. I don't think he's going to, he may be ahead of Ron DeSantis and all the other Republican candidates at this point. But far as, actually being nominated, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to get the nomination. I have no clue, And even at the nomination, if you get the nomination, then are you going to actually get, I don't know. I don't think that is going to happen for him. Our next best choice would be Ron DeSantis. So you're taking the lesser evil of the two, But in my opinion, I believe Trump would be the better person. Now, is he flawed? Of course he's flawed. And I've heard from many different YouTubers about the fact that, he has so much baggage with him and so forth. But let's be realistic. All this baggage that's being proud on him is not his baggage, per se, if you will. It's all this stuff is being done by the deep state. Anybody should know that. Anybody and everybody should know that this is being done by the deep state. This is being done by the radical Democrats to keep this man from getting in office because he's against what I believe their globalist agenda. And they need someone in there that will talk about little stuff like, transgenderism and all this kind of stuff. And we need to push against that. But overall, they still are going to push their one world global government, one world global religion, and one world global economic systems. Excuse me. That's the bigger picture. But that's nothing that really can be done about that, really. You got to take the lesser of the two evils. And if Trump doesn't get in, which in my opinion, I don't think he's going to get in for reasons that have nothing to do with all the baggage that's been put on him, but has more or less to do with the deep state not wanting them in there because he's too much of an opposition to what they want. The next best thing would be Ron DeSantis, which would slow down what the elites want. It'll slow them down. Okay, they would have to tread more lightly because Ron DeSantis, as he said in an interview, has been standing against a big major corporation like Walt Disney. Ron DeSantis accused Trump of not standing against this multinational corporation, That's true. But at the same time, Donald Trump has stood against the deep state, which includes Walt Disney Corporation and everybody else. And I mean, occultists and everyone else. I mean, we've had witches literally wanting to cast a spell on him. I'm not making that up. Literally wanting to cast a spell on this man. Witches, the occult. You got occultists wanting to cast spells on Donald Trump. Are you kidding me? Because he's a threat to the bigger picture. That's what that's about. He is a threat to the bigger picture. Ron DeSantis, from what I understand, has not had that kind of threat. Yes, he's come against a multinational corporation that's multinational. It's known all over the world. Okay. But Walt Disney, even big as it is, it doesn't control everything. There's someone else at the top of the pyramid that controls Walt Disney. And those ones at the top of the pyramid that control Walt Disney and control all the multinational corporations all over the world are the ones that control the agenda. And they are the ones that are purposely coming against Trump. They may slap down Ron DeSantis a little bit and, come against him like through people like Biden, who's nothing but a robot. What you just said, yeah, they'll do that because they just, Biden is just dead. He's a puppet anyway. He's nothing but an empty-head puppet, and they put whatever they need to put in his brain, and he says it. But that's it. That's controlled opposition, as one can argue. That's controlled opposition. But at the end of the day, the big guys are coming after Trump. So you got to think about that, okay? But to sum this video up, it's going to be a rough ride. And that's what I wanted to say here in the summary of this video. Yes, it's going to be a rough ride, but I want to reiterate something that I said in the previous video about this rough ride. This, in my opinion, is going to be what determines whether or not we have an actual civil war. Yep, you heard it. Now, that may sound extreme, but from what I'm reading and from what I'm hearing and from what I'm seeing, with the radical left and their anger and hate and all this stuff being pushed with Target, making a deal with a known Satanist and transgenderism and these beer organizations pushing transgenderism and this overstation, all of this stuff going on, and this vandalism of anti-abortion clinics being vandalized, people being threatened from the far left people on the radical left threatening conservatives and so forth. I believe that this is going to be the access point right here. This is going to be the one where we meet up, and it may be a possible, actual, physical civil war. Our country is right on the edge of being like disintegrated in this sense of the word. I pray that my predictions are wrong. But from what I'm experiencing, what I've been dealing with, and what I've been reading for these past few months and so forth, I'm seeing, that's what I see happening. Because the radical left who wants their communist government is not going to back down easily. And if there's any inroad from either Trump or Ron DeSantis, okay, we are more than likely going to have a civil war, and it's going to be initiated by the radical left. Black Lives Matter is going to be out there. Antifa is going to be out there. And masses of people are going to be whipped up in such a frenzy. So watch, as it gets closer and closer and closer, the mainstream media, the mainstream liberal media is going to ramp it up even more intense on the right. They're going to make it look like the right is, the conservatives are the most dangerous people in this country, when in reality, they're covering up what the radical left, activist groups, and people on the left are actually doing. And the only way you're going to find out about it is if you watch alternative news sources. But they're going to, the mainstream liberal media is going to ramp it up. The closer we get, they're going to ramp it up and ramp it up and ramp it up. All this propaganda, they're going to ramp it up to the point where people are going to be so angry and so infuriated that they're going to be ready to strike any conservative as some crazy person that's into conspiracy theories. And you watch. I hope I'm wrong. But this is just my opinion. This is just my opinion. And blood is going to be spilled. And I hope and pray I'm wrong. But I have to end the video on this because, as Mark Dye said, and I'm going to add to that, I've added that to that, get ready, prepare yourself for a ride. Buckle your seatbelts, prepare yourself for a ride. But my addition to that ride is you better buckle yourself. You better get your arms ready. You better be ready to physically fight. Don't initiate any fighting, obviously, but you better be ready, because I believe that that's what it's going to come to. But those are my words on this situation. What do you guys think? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel. God bless you all, and see you again.